Today, we uncover 20 hidden facts from World War II. Each story is carefully selected to captivate and surprise. Let's dive into the past and discover the untold stories that have shaped our world. Some of the biggest stars of Hollywood today got their start during the Second World War. When they used entertainment as a way to boost morale, many actors and actresses would tour the country, putting on shows for the troops. Surprisingly, many of these performances were free. When Walt Disney was asked how he could afford to put on such large productions for servicemen stationed around the world, he simply sighed, "It's not an expense, it's an investment." Disney, along with other producers and directors, knew that if they could entertain these men and women in the armed forces, they might just be able to make lifelong fans in the process. For some men and women fighting in distant lands, these performances were a welcome distraction from the realities of combat. They could forget about danger for a few hours and enjoy a good show. Who knows what iconic actors might have been discovered during the war? Which of these facts from World War II surprised you the most? Comment below and share this video with a friend. Did you know that during World War II, more than 300 Australian nurses were sent to serve in the Middle East? These brave women provided medical care to wounded soldiers in some of the most dangerous conditions imaginable. But it wasn't just the physical dangers they faced. They also had to contend with the social and cultural norms of the time. Despite the challenges, they made significant contributions to the war effort and helped save many lives. In addition to providing direct medical care, they also dealt with the emotional toll of seeing so much death and suffering. Many of them suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder after the war, but their service was ultimately a testament to their bravery and compassion. Their stories are an important part of Australia's history, and they deserve our recognition and respect. It may seem strange now, but during World War II, there was a point where Britain and the Soviet Union were actually allies. This alliance, however, didn't last long as tensions between the two countries quickly grew. After the war ended, relations became increasingly strained, and by the late 1940s, they had become outright hostile. The Cold War had begun. During World War II, the United States had a powerful weapon in its arsenal against Germany: the Enigma machine. This advanced encryption technology allowed the Germans to send messages that were almost impossible to decipher. But American codebreakers managed to crack the Enigma code, giving the Allies valuable intelligence on German operations. However, it was a closely guarded secret at the time, and only a few people knew about it until recently. Decades later, the story of the codebreakers and their contributions to the Allied victory was finally declassified and made public. Today, historians and the general public can learn about the incredible work that went into cracking the Enigma code and the impact it had on the outcome of the war. Do you remember the iconic scene in the movie Schindler's List when Oskar Schindler uses his wealth and influence to help Jewish people escape the clutches of the Nazis? It's a powerful and moving story. But did you know that it's based on real events? Oskar Schindler was a German businessman who used his connections to save the lives of more than 1,000 Jewish people during the Holocaust. He has since become known as a hero and an example of one man's ability to make a difference in the face of evil. His story reminds us that even in the darkest of times, hope and humanity can still prevail. At the height of World War II, a group of British spies hatched a daring plan to assassinate Hitler. The mission was codenamed Operation Foxley and involved a team of commandos who would parachute into Germany and plant a bomb near Hitler's vacation home. The operation was fraught with danger and required meticulous planning. However, the team faced numerous obstacles, including unexpected changes in Hitler's schedule and heavy German defenses. Ultimately, the assassination attempt failed, and the team was forced to flee Germany. Despite the setback, Operation Foxley remains a fascinating and dramatic episode in the history of espionage, and the lengths to which the Allies would go to defeat Hitler. Have you ever wondered what would happen if you accidentally traveled back in time to World War II? Imagine the sights, sounds, and smells of a World War II battlefield or the bustling streets of a London Blitz. But be careful, because time travel isn't just a fun adventure. It's a dangerous game with serious consequences. What if you accidentally change the course of history, or worse, cause the destruction of the world as we know it? Well, thanks to technology, we don't have to imagine. Thanks to Google's time travel project, we can explore a 3D model of London and see how it looked during the war. We can also take a virtual tour of the famous D-Day beaches in Normandy France. So what are you waiting for? Take a trip back in time and experience World War II like never before. Did you know that during World War II, the British Royal Navy kept cows on board some of their warships? At first, it may seem like an unusual choice of pet for sailors at sea, but there was a practical reason behind it. The milk from these cows was used to make chocolate, which was then rationed out to the sailors. This ensured that the crew had access to some much-needed nutrition, and helped boost morale during long and lonely missions. Plus, the cows were apparently well taken care of, and even had their own quarters on the ships. It has a quirky piece of history that shows the lengths to which the Navy went to ensure the well-being of their crews. There is a lesser-known aspect of World War II that many people are unaware of: the role of animals in the war effort. From dogs to cats, pigeons, and even monkeys, animals played a vital role on the battlefield and at home. Dogs were trained to carry messages, find wounded soldiers, and even blow up enemy tanks. Cats were used to control rodent populations on ships and factories. Pigeons delivered important messages, and monkeys served as human decoys. These animals showed incredible bravery and intelligence, helping to save lives and win the war. But despite their contributions, they often received little recognition. That's why it is important to remember the animals of World War II and the important roles they played. During World War II, the Japanese military followed a strict code of Bushido, which emphasized bravery, loyalty, and self-sacrifice. This code deeply influenced the behavior of Japanese soldiers and led to some surprising acts of valor. For example, Japanese soldiers were known to fight to the very end, even if they were outnumbered and facing certain death. They believed that surrendering was dishonorable and that death in battle was a noble sacrifice for the emperor. This code also led to acts of self-sacrifice, such as kamikaze pilots willingly crashing their planes into Allied ships. While the actions of these soldiers may seem extreme by today's standards, they were a product of their time and a reflection of the values they were taught to uphold. What if you could own a piece of history? During World War II, ordinary citizens could purchase war bonds to support the war effort, and now you can own one of those very bonds for a unique and meaningful investment. Owning a World War II bond is a tangible way to connect with the past and the sacrifices that were made to protect our freedom. Plus, it's a conversation starter and a great addition to any collection. Don't miss this chance to own a piece of history. Do you remember the iconic image of Rosie the Riveter during World War II? This strong and determined woman represented the millions of female factory workers who helped build the weapons and vehicles needed to win the war. But what many people don't realize is that women also served in combat roles. Women pilots, snipers, and resistance fighters proved that they were just as capable as men, and their contributions were vital to the Allied victory. Today, women continue to serve in the armed forces around the world, breaking barriers and paving the way for future generations. Now, let's move on to the next segment. In the midst of the chaos and destruction of World War II, something amazing happened. People found ways to help each other and show kindness in the face of adversity. Ordinary people opened their homes to refugees, risking their own safety to help those in need. Communities came together to support each other through the hardships of war, and strangers risked their lives to save others. These acts of humanity were a beacon of hope in dark times, and a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable challenges, compassion and generosity can prevail. But World War II was not just a time of great destruction and loss. It was also a time of great innovation and discovery. Scientists and engineers raced against time to develop new technologies that would help the war effort. Radar, jet engines, penicillin, and early computers were just some of the inventions that emerged during this time. These innovations not only changed the course of the war, but also had a profound impact on our daily lives today. As the war raged on, it became clear that something had to be done about the growing number of casualties. Medical professionals on the front lines began experimenting with new techniques to save lives. Blood transfusions, organ transplants, and new surgical techniques were just some of the advancements that emerged during this time. These innovations not only helped save the lives of soldiers on the battlefield, but also paved the way for modern medical practices that we rely on today. While the war was primarily fought by soldiers on the front lines, the home front was no less important. Civilians were encouraged to do their part to support the war effort through rationing, recycling, and planting victory gardens. They also had to deal with the fear of air raids and the uncertainty of the future. But despite the challenges, they persevered, and their efforts helped the Allies win the war. So as we look back on World War II, let us remember not only the destruction and loss, but also the bravery, innovation, and humanity that emerged during this time. From the medical breakthroughs to the civilian contributions, the stories of World War II remind us of the resilience and strength of the human spirit. And there you have it, 20 hidden facts from World War II that will make you look at history in a whole new light. Which facts surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating historical tales. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the past.